Bilal Powell, and you're watching Dansportsnews.
No, Eric, and you're watching Dansportsnews.
I'm Everett, and you're watching Dansportsnews.
This is Javon Quinterly, you're watching Dansportsnews.
So tell me a little bit about how you first got started in music. Who were some of the people that inspired you to get started into music?
Okay, so as far as like who kind of got me started musically, if I'm being honest, I can honestly say I've always been very, very, very into listening to different types of music. I grew up listening more so to like Boyz II Men, Faith Evans, and pretty much just like all those other older songs. But who got me more so like inspired to go ahead and just want to write per se was basically listening to Queen Latifah and just being able to kind of like just listen to Drake, listen to just a bunch of different people. But as far as like, I don't know if you're asking me what got me started just writing in general or writing more so like Christian hip hop, I guess is the question I'm trying to figure out.
Well, did you always start in writing Christian hip hop, or were you doing secular music before?
So for the most part, I was just writing music just to write it. I used it kind of just like as a venting session, but I did used to write secular music. The only difference was I didn't curse in none of my music still. So it was just like my message was different, but I still kept it clean.
Right. So when did you transition into becoming a Christian hip-hop artist, and who were some of the Christian hip-hop artists that you really looked up to that made you want to pursue being a Christian hip-hop artist?
So I kind of transitioned into that in 2012, went into 2013. It was basically, I started listening to a lot of Triple E. Triple E was actually the first Christian hip-hop artist that I've ever seen. I saw him on TV, and my mom was like, hey, look, it's someone that's rapping and stuff like that. She was like, check him out. So I looked him up, and then finding him, I found Lecrae, and listening to Lecrae's Rehab Overdose album is kind of what really pushed me to be like, hey, you know, like this is actually kind of dope to be able to do this. But still, like, have your own style at the same time. Like, everybody may be talking about the same thing, but it's just how you can go about it. But the one who made me really want to pursue it as far as Christian hip-hop was actually KB. And it was more so not because of his music, but because of his testimony, where it was he wasn't raised in church, but the fact of someone giving him their mixtape is literally essentially what saved him, because that's how he had his encounter with God and what got him started. So I thought that was awesome. And I was like, you know what? If God can do that with him, then I know that he can use my story too to go and do that for somebody else. So that was really what kind of just kicked it into gear. And basically since then, it's just here. I'm here.
Right, for sure. Now, during the quarantine, how have you been in the studio more at home, I assume, like a home studio, writing music? I know you released a song yesterday, which we'll get into later, but how have you been writing music so far during quarantine?
So if I'm being 100% honest, prior to quarantine, I was actually in a bit of a writer's block. I couldn't write anything. Like, I mean, it wasn't that I couldn't write anything, I couldn't finish anything. That's a better choice of words. In the beginning of quarantine, like, I was literally just in like a writer's block phase, and I was like, okay, I don't know why I'm in this writer's block phase, but I was like, whatever you want, God, then, you know, whatever will be here. So what I did was I tried to force myself to write, and it didn't happen. So what I did was I kind of just put myself on a 21-day fast, where basically, like, I took that time to refocus. And literally, it's like after those 21 days, like, I've been doing nothing but writing music. So getting features done here and there, basically putting out the new single that you mentioned, pretty much being able to put that together and just, like, you know, continuing to work even when I'm, like, working my regular job, because I do work a 9-to-5 job as well. So it's just like quarantine has been a blessing, and at the same time, it's been kind of hectic in the sense of where it's like you feel like you got to do so much, and there's not really much you can do. But in reality, it's just shown me that kind of you just need time to slow down, you need things to slow down just a little bit so you can really see what it is that you're focused on.
Right.
And I was able to regroup, and here I am. I just been working real hard.
Yeah, so tell me about the song, Sincerely with Avila, and is that something you want to do more where you're a featured artist on other rappers' songs?
So essentially with Sincerely, it's actually a collaborative project. So basically, difference between the collaborative and then the feature aspect is me and Avila went ahead and we wrote this together. So we did the beat from scratch. We basically sat in the studio and we basically bounced ideas off each other the entire time. So basically that's why if you go on my Spotify or Apple Music, you'll see it's in my catalog, because technically I'm not a featured artist. It's a collaborative, but in the sense of the Sincerely song itself, it's just an open letter to really talk about how two creatives are in a relationship that they feel it just becomes harder and harder to be who God wants them to be when they're with someone who doesn't necessarily see the vision, that they're trying to get to. So he's talking his story, what's happened with him, and I'm basically iterating what's happened with me within my journey of just relationships and like meeting different people and stuff like that, and just being able to kind of just share that with you guys. And even as creatives that, we struggle with heartbreak, and we struggle with, trying to find the right words to put together, whereas we can continue to have you guys feel a part of what we're going through. So it's really just an open letter from both of us. Aside from that, I also have a song that I released, and it's called Seperation Anxiety. That's actually my first debut single since 2017. And that one is especially near and dear for me because all it's really talking about is sometimes in life you're going to have to step away from the ones that you love because you've been chosen for something far greater that unfortunately you can't take everyone with you. You got to just trust that whatever is at the end of the tunnel that you're walking, that God is literally has everything in place for you, and it just takes for us to just have that faith and walk even when we don't know where we're going.
Right, yeah, I saw the Separation Anxiety video on Rapzilla. I really liked the music video. It was a good visual and nice concept. Tell me about how you decided to do that with the text messages and all that stuff with the music video. What was your idea with that?
So essentially I just wanted to show from a standpoint where it's just like you're having a constant battle inside of yourself, and even the people that you love that know that you love them are having a hard time to kind of understand that it's no hard feelings. It's nothing personal in the sense of like you switched up on them or anything like that. It's just the fact of you've come to a different time of your life, and unfortunately, like, different. And as far as with the text messages, I feel like that really incorporated the feeling of, like, when other people like, hey, so like, well, you changed, you're not the same, you're fake, da da da. So I feel like that was very relatable to how certain situations make us feel, instead of asking ourselves, like, why does this person feel like this? Like, what do they got going on that they're feeling like this? So it was basically, being able to kind of just Bear New Name pretty much is kind of just, it was basically just my story where I was as just a person, both in my personal life and just within my spiritual life. Kind of just being able to really give you guys some insight on where I started and where I'm at currently, So it was like with every one of those songs, it's a 10-track production, and pretty much they're all different stories. Some of them, funny enough, it ended up being like very relatable to anyone, not just that person at the time. More so, the reason why I named it Very New Name was because there's a verse in Revelations, I believe it's Revelations 2:17, and pretty much within that scripture itself is basically just talking about that, you know, at that point in time, there were two doctrines that you could follow. It was God's doctrine, and then it was the doctrine of the basically just not what God wanted. I can't remember right now, but pretty much it was two different doctrines, and God was basically giving his people a choice. It was, you can either follow my doctrine or you can follow what, you know, what the world will say is their doctrine. And if you decided to follow in the way that God wanted you to walk, it was he went ahead and presented you with a white stone with a brand new name on it that only you and him would know. So I took it as my entire like transition of me going into Christian hip hop. It was, I got a lot of criticism and just not so much support from people, in the sense of where it's like they felt I should have just stayed doing secular, that I had a lot more potential doing that instead of like transitioning. And pretty much it was just like, I basically took that as my incentive to kind of show publicly, like, I'm going to follow what I feel in my heart. And because I did this and I'm choosing to follow the way that I feel God wants me to walk, I'm a new person. And I have a brand new name that he's given me. So that's kind of why I named it Brand New Name.
Right. Now, do you have any new albums, or do you have a new album in the works potentially? Because it's been 3 years now since you have.
Well, as of right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what I've learned from dropping my first album 3 years ago is taking your time to being able to kind of organically build up your supporters,
right,
and stuff like that. So that's why it's like from 2017. Strictly 2018, 2019, if you look in the discography, you'll see it's been nothing but features since then. Just because at that time, I was not really so much focused on putting out another entire project. It was more so I wanted to focus on my sound and just like developing myself better. So Separation Anxiety was my debut of my rebranded sound, where I felt like I found a sound that just fit me. And it's just like effortless. And pretty much aside from Separation Anxiety, just released my latest single, and it's called Sincerely. And then pretty much right now, I just have a bunch of other things lined up. It's just more so waiting on some of the back end stuff. I can't tell you guys too much, but I've been working real hard, and I know that the next time that I do put out a project, it's going to be worth it, because it's just going to be, it's a build-up. Everything that I'm putting out, it's all going to come together. So it's just like within the releases that I have, it's all going to be full circle when I decide to put out what I've been working on in reality. So I'm excited to share that. But like I said, in the meantime, what dropping Very New Name in 2017 with no real fan base, with not knowing anything really, it was a lot of work that pretty much was just drowned out, you know, by so much music. And that's when streaming was kind of just starting. So it wasn't as big as it is right now. So the fact that streaming has evolved, technology has evolved, it's a whole different ballgame. And I'm taking my time, but I'm working it to the best of my ability. So it's just like Separation Anxiety is doing really well. It's over 40,000 streams on Spotify, over 8,000 views on YouTube, and just Apple Music itself, over 10,000 listens. And I'm honestly just humbled by it, just because Very New Name, it took maybe 3 years for me to hit my first 1,000 and 4,000 mark on 2 songs for a whole 10 10-track album. So it's just like, I'm going to take my time, guys, because I want to make sure that, you know, this is something that not only I want to put out, but something that you guys would be willing to listen to. Because nowadays we're okay with singles and 2-track EPs, and we're like, okay, we're fine, like, we're good. So it's being able to kind of know your audience and know what they can handle. So it's just like, you're not giving too much, you're not giving too little.
Right, for sure, no doubt. Now, who is someone in the industry that you would like to work with and collab with, do a song with?
Okay, so I have some Christian collaboratives, and I also have secular collaboratives. So for the secular one, I would love to do a collaboration with Ariana Grande. I feel like her and I would make something great. Aside from her, I would love to do something with Kehlani. I would love to do something with Drake. Drake is actually one of my favorite secular artists. I would love to do something with Bryson Tiller, and even maybe possibly something with Tory Lanez like this. If I could get any one of those, it literally make my day, honestly. And then as far as with my Christian collaboratives, I would love to do something with Lecrae. I would love to do something with V Rose. Pretty much, I listened to V Rose when I started first listening to Christian hip hop. So I thought it was pretty cool that someone with her vocal range can just sing so beautifully, and So V Rose is another one. One Day, I know that for most part, I know she's very not so much new to the scene, but the fact that she's on Reach and stuff like that, she's really paving the way for artists like myself and just every other woman who is trying to do it. They're saying CHH, so it's just I would love to do something with her. Who else? I'm trying to think. It's another person, Byron Dewan, and there's another girl. Her name is Taylor Made. She's actually really dope. Her voice is beautiful. And I trying to think of one more. I would love to do something with Trip if I could, and even something with KD. I feel like if I could get something with those 4 people off Reach, I would be okay. I'd be satisfied. But as far as that goes, those are some of the people in the industry I would love to work with.
Right, and I was going to ask, what are your thoughts of working with people, doing songs with people who are not Christian hip-hop artists?
So for the most part, I can honestly tell you that I tend to do a lot of features with artists who are not essentially labeled as Christian hip-hop artists. My only, I guess you would say, I don't know the word right now, but basically, I guess my only, I'm not going to say a rule, but it's just a preference that I have is we keep the song 100% clean in the aspect of, if you want to get a message across, we got to do that without having vulgar language or anything that's going to implicate me and what I'm doing. I don't mind being a part of what you're doing as long as you can respect what I'm doing as well. So for the most part, it works out because I honestly get a lot of artists, some of them that I kind of just work with, that they tell me, hey, look, I got a song. I'm not going to curse on it. We can keep it real clean. I just want you to be a part of it. So essentially from there, we go ahead, work out pretty much just we'll work something out. So whether it's they'll pay me the feature price or we'll work something on the back end. It really all depends. Everybody's kind of different depending on our relationship. But for the most part, I don't have any problem working with artists who are non-Christian. In reality, the majority of that reason is because, at the same time, I love God with all my heart. But at the same time, I do listen to secular music every now and then. I'm just very selective of who I like to listen to.
Right.
So for the most part, I'll listen to Drake, I'll listen to J. Cole, I'll listen to Joyner Lucas, I will listen to Logic. It all really depends. I like people who can intrigue my mind and kind of just give me their real authentic self. I'm not very big on commercial like commercial tracks too much. Like I kind of like going for like the underdog songs that are not on the radio, and stuff like that. But for the most part, I have no problem. Honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, when I first started recording myself, I basically started recording with my cousin that he does music, and then my little brother. So it's just like they're both non-Christian artists, but I love working with them. So it really just all depends on the vibes. Like if I can't get behind what your message is, then I'm not going to put myself on that.
For sure. And I know like Lecrae gets a lot of backlash sometimes because he does songs with like non-Christian artists like Ty Dolla $ign or YK Osiris. But as long as the message is clean and he's still spreading the gospel, I think it's to get their fans into his music. So I think what he's doing is good.
The way that I look at it is, if you really want to be spiritual about it, it's just like Jesus didn't stay with the holy people when he came down to earth. He went out to where the sinners were. Right. He went out to where the people who didn't know him were. He went looking for these people. So it's just like, it's a dangerous game in the sense of, you got to be spiritually ready to, like, be a part of that atmosphere. Because, if you're trying to live a certain life and the people around you are not trying to live it either, like, that's how temptation and all that stuff comes into play. But it's just like, if you can 100%, like, feel it in your heart and your soul, like, hey, I can stand my ground. And like I said, it's all about the person respecting what it is you're doing. So it's just like, if you can have that respect where it's like, you're not going to make me step out of character and I'm not going to make you step out of character. Like, my only hope, and I feel like it's also Lecrae's too, is just like to go out and be the light in the places that a lot of Christian hip-hop artists don't want to go out to be because of like getting a lot of backlash and all sort of stuff. And the only thing that ever comes to my mind is just like when Jesus asks us to go and like take up our cross daily. And it's just like, that's how I look at it as my cross. It's just like, I know for the simple fact that I could stay doing Christian hip-hop music and that's it, but I don't want to keep myself just boxed there. Eventually, like, I want to be able to go ahead and do my Christian hip-hop music, but also being able to collaborate with people like Lecrae, being able to collaborate with someone that I can hear their voice and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to ask them to be a part of what I'm doing and just hope that God, does his thing after. Because a lot of people may have heard of Lecrae for the first time because of YK Osiris, because of, fan bases learning about other artists. That's just kind of how it is. So I'm here for it. Like, it just depends on the message.
Now, what are your goals? What are your overall goals in your music career?
My overall goals of my music career. So long and short-term goals, or just...
Yeah, I guess long-term goals. Yeah.
Okay, so my long-term goal at the end of the day is I would love to go ahead and open up possibly my own label. It really all depends, but I know for sure, like, that's one thing that I would really like to do, and kind of just being able to help other indie artists kind of have some direction. Just for the simple fact that when I first started in 2017, like, actually recording and trying to learn all the algorithms and everything with social media, like, I didn't really have too much direction. Thank God for YouTube and, like, Google, but it's just I can provide a space where I can do that for someone else, then so be it. I would love to eventually be a Grammy Award-winning artist. That is for sure. It sounds like a short-term goal, but it's just like people be waiting years to get a Grammy. Like, J. Cole just got his first Grammy, and that was as a feature for a 21 Savage song. So it's just like, you never know. So that's another one. And then just, in all honesty, like, the day that I ever leave this earth, that my music can just be impactful to anyone that comes across it, whatever season that they're in their life, that it can be resonated with them, whether I'm here to talk about it with you or whether I'm gone.
Right. And my final question is signing with a record label something you would like to do or achieve, or do you want to stay independent? Because I know you just brought up having your own record label. What is your goal with that?
So Ideally, I won't lie to you. One of my biggest goals used to be the first female artist to be signed to Reach Records. That was a big dream of mine. And once I saw that they had signed one day, I was like, dang. I was like, I guess that's out the question. But, you know, it's like, it's not that there's no more room for other female artists. It's just, I don't know if they're planning on signing anyone else soon, but, like, being able to have this indie journey, it's a very rough journey in the sense of when you're financially supporting your own music and, you know, you're the one that's, like, paying for the plugins and paying for the equipment that you got to use so everything can come out quality. Or, like, if you got to pay to have your music video, if you got to pay for production, like, not everybody can produce their own stuff. Like, it gets very costly. And as far as with the label, it'd be nice to have someone else foot the bill. But at the same time, like, as of right now, I think for me is basically being able to have a, what is it? Oh my God. I know RMG does it where they kind of do it like where they have a label and it's called RMG Amplified. And basically all it is like you're contracted with them for certain releases, but you're still your own independent artist. So it's just like, if I was able to kind of get something like that with Sony or freaking Interscope or something like that, where it's just like I could still kind of stay somewhat independent, is just I just have their co-signing to do like my music, then I think that'd be pretty dope. But if not, for the meantime, I kind of want to continue to just learn more about the industry itself and stay indie, just because Chance the Rapper has proven that you can literally do it. Indie, you can win a Grammy and all this other stuff. Respect from, you know, those people that are signed and been doing this for a while, if you really take the time to learn and be educated on what the business is really about. So it's just, I look at Chance's success as that, and I'm like, you know what, if he did it, I could do it too. It's going to take me some time, but as of right now, indie's kind of just the lane that I want to stay in. But if I end up getting picked up by a label, only way that I'm signing is it has to be a deal that's going to work out for my best interest. So, and I know for the fact what I've been hearing is 9 out of 10, depending on the label, like the labels don't, it's not that they don't care about their artists, it's just the fact of like a lot of them look at you as just a number, a dollar sign, and it's just like, it's not fair. Like, a lot of them won't sign you now because you don't have a big enough fan base. Like, you don't have enough buzz around you. So it's not like before. Now it's like they want you to have your fan base. They want you to have your numbers. They want you to have everything prior to them picking you up. So they don't have to do as much work. They just got to put in the right funds to expose you to the right demographics. And, like, you know, they're making money. You're making money, but in reality, a lot of people don't know that when you get that advance is literally nothing, because whatever they, like I said, depending on the deal, whatever they take from you, you got to pay that advance back for your tour dates, your album sales, your everything. Tory Lanez just went indie after, you know, a few years with, I think he was with Interscope, I think. But like, he like, I don't know if you've been paying attention to him. This man has been dropping music like a maniac, like every other day, every other week. Like, he's dropping something. But he even said it. He was like, you know, I'm appreciative of my label, but he was like, it's time for me to stand on my own 2 feet. So if I were to get signed by a label, I know for a fact that it's just like, it would have to be a deal that's in my best interest just as much as it is in theirs.
Right, for sure, no doubt. Now, last thing, just let all the listeners know where they can follow you on social media and where they can stream all your music.
All right, so if you want to, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. It's going to be at Jekasole, so it's JEKAGOTSOLE. And if you want to find any of my music, you can find it on Apple, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube. Simply just look up Jekasole, JEKASOLE, and you'll find me. I'm telling you, go ahead, check it out. I had 2 features this month that dropped in the beginning of May, the middle of May, and then I just released my single at the end of May. So it's been pretty busy. Quarantine's been good for you, girl. Thank you, Daniel, for having me, taking the time out of your night to interview me. Thank you very much. And, yeah, man, I hope that God continue to elevate you and everything else that you do.
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking time to come on my show and share about your music journey.
Thank you so much. You have an amazing night. And y'all, man, y'all follow me, man. I promise. It's not going to be a waste of your time.